Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wildcard Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech Land, and we have a super wild list to check out today. This is Heartless Sultai, comes to us from Hano Yasuki, who took it to an undefeated finish in an infamous small Japanese tournament. So congrats to Hano on a super sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Heartless Sultai for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Heartless Sultai is built around Heartless Summoning. This deck has a ton of sweet ways to abuse the enchantment. So Heartless Summoning is a really powerful enchantment. 2 mana, makes all your creatures cost 2 less. Downside is it also gives all your creatures -1/-1, which is mostly just a deck building restriction. Obviously can't play like Birds of Paradise, for example, or Noble Hierarch, because they're just going to die if you have a Heartless Summoning out. So the way we go about abusing Heartless Summoning in this deck is actually threefold. We have a few different plans involving Heartless Summoning, but most of them involve Jerez Orders, which is an interesting tutor effect. So 4 mana, you search for 2 creatures. One of them we get to put in our hand, the other one goes into our graveyard. Remember, we get to choose which one. So we get to choose one in the hand, one in the graveyard. So we use the combination of Jerez Orders to find combo pieces with Heartless Summoning to make our combo pieces cheaper or enable our combos in other ways to close out the game in a bunch of different ways. So combo number 1 is pretty straightforward. Shou Alpha Occultist lets us mill our opponent whenever a creature dies. So if we can get a Shou Alpha Occultist down, maybe just for 1 mana with Heartless Summoning, then we can Jerez Orders for 2 Mirror Retrievers, 1 in our graveyard, 1 in our hand. Mirror Retriever is free since we have Heartless Summoning, making it 2 cheaper, so it make 2 cheaper from 2 is 0. So we cast Mirror Retriever, it dies, we mill our opponent, we get back our other Mirror Retriever that was in the graveyard from Jerez Orders, then we cast that Mirror Retriever, it dies, we mill our opponent, get back a Mirror Retriever, loop, 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 loop. End result is we mill our opponent's entire library out with the Shou Alpha Occultist. So that's combo number 1. Combo number 2 is we go big. So once we get Heartless Summoning out, we can Jerez Orders for Grizzle Brand and Body Double. Grizzle Brand we choose to put in the graveyard, or if we happen to have a ton of mana, we can just cast it. But mostly we put Grizzle Brand in the graveyard. Then we can cast the Body Double for just 3 mana with the Heartless Summoning, get a Grizzle Brand, draw a bunch of cards, find our other combo pieces, beat down with the huge flying Grizzle Brand. So just tutoring up the combo of Grizzle Brand and Body Double basically gives us a 3 mana Grizzle Brand, which is a great deal for a Grizzle Brand, even when it's getting -1/-1 from Heartless Summonings. So that's plan 2. If we don't infinitely mill our opponent, we can just get a Grizzle Brand, go crazy that way. Finally, we can just use Heartless Summoning to slam some really powerful stuff. Muldrifter is insane with Heartless Summonings. 1 mana Divination if we evoke it. So yes, it dies, but 1 mana draw 2. Really powerful. Or for 3 mana, we get a 1/1 flyer left behind. Not a huge threat, but we can beat down with it. But it keeps us cycling through our deck, finding combo pieces, finding more big things like Wormcoil Engine, which is super insane with Heartless Summoning. So Heartless Summoning makes Wormcoil Engine 4 mana. A 5/5 Wormcoil Engine, with all of its abilities, with the worm tokens it leaves behind, for 4 mana is an incredibly good deal. So we just get super cheap, super fast Wormcoils, use it to close out the game that way. So if we're not going Infinite Mill, and we're not going Grizzle Brand, Body Double, janky reanimation type stuff, we can just play big things and beat our opponent down that way. The rest of the deck doesn't directly involve Heartless Summonings. Fauna Shaman gives us another way to find our pieces, has 2 toughness, so it's not going to die to our Heartless Summoning. So we can just start discarding Mirror Retrievers or whatever we need, find our other Mirror Retriever, find our Occultist for the mill plan, find a bunch of Wormcoils to beat down, get a Grizzle Brand in the graveyard. So a nice enabler for everything that we're trying to set up. And then Sylvan Caryatid and Utopia Sprawl give us a bit more ramp, and it's ramp that doesn't die to Heartless Summoning. Sylvan Caryatid obviously has enough toughness, Utopia Sprawl, and Chance of Land, so since we can't play Birds of Paradise, we can't play Noble Hierarch, this still gives us that acceleration, and it really enables our plan of casting the big stuff. Finally, we just have Sleight of Hand and Serum Vision, which gives us something to do on turn 1, where we can't play Birds of Paradise and other mana rampers because the Heartless Summoning helps us find our Heartless Summoning, so good setup. Also helps us find our other combo pieces once we have Heartless Summoning, so really, really good at just assembling all of our various combos and finding all of our important pieces. Mana base wise, we get a ton of different fetch lands, followed by a bunch of shock lands, some basic lands, and then a couple of random dual lands. As far as the sideboard, we have Collective Brutality and Thoughtseize for discard. Collective Brutality is quickly becoming one of my favorite sideboard cards because it does so many good things. So Thoughtseize is really good in certain matchups. You bring it in to fight combo, you bring it in to fight control, awesome there, so good. Collective Brutality is awesome in those matchups, plus it's awesome against burn. You bring it in to kill Goblin Guides and Eidolon of the Great Revels or other small creatures. Can also gain you a bit of life, which is nice, so it's a way you can kind of cheat on sideboard slots. By putting Collective Brutality in your sideboard, you can have something that's maybe not quite as good as Thoughtseize against combo and control, but Thoughtseize is pretty actively bad against burn and aggro, so Collective Brutality gives you a card that you can bring in those matchups too. So it's just quickly becoming one of my favorite sideboard cards for Modern. Then we have Nile Spellbomb to deal with graveyards, Hurkyl's Recall to bounce affinity stuff primarily, Nature's Claim lets us just blow up artifacts and enchantments. Since we have Infinite Mill and Grizzle Brands and stuff, don't really care about our opponent gaining a bit of life. Lost Legacy to fight combo. Iona gives us another sweet reanimation target. You know how we were talking about the combo of Jerez Orders to put a Grizzle Brand in the graveyard, cast a body double to cover it, to copy it. We can do the same thing with Iona, which is especially good against monocolor decks. We can shut off their entire deck with an Iona out. And then Thragtusk, good way to gain some life, works really well with Heartless Summoning, coming down for just 3 mana on curve with Heartless Summoning. So lots of value there as well. And that is Heartless Sultai for Modern. And that's our instant deck tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.